On this Ask Katrina, the question is, Katrina, am I a good leader? Well, the first thing that I would say is this. You're not asking the right person. I'm not certain if you're a good leader or not. I can tell you a couple of attributes of a good leader, but the people that you really need to be asking are the people that report to you. You see, at the end of the day, we're only a good leader if our teams believe that we are. If we're giving them the tools that they need, we're giving them the resources that they need, we're supporting them, we're guiding them, we're championing them, right? We're serving. If you ask your team, hey, team, how am I serving you today? Could I do anything better? One of the things that I always used to do as an aside that really helped me know if I was leading or not on the right path, right? I was going down the right path of being a good leader, was I would ask at the end of every conversation, I would say, okay, how can I support you? What can I do for you? And it wasn't just something that was, something I said in my sleep. I said it that often. It was such a practice that I had, but it wasn't just a blanket blinded, yeah, how can I help? Right? It wasn't one of those. It wasn't out of obligation. It was a sincere ask. They would call and they would ask for something, or many times I would have to call them and ask them for help with something. Hey, I need you to do this. I need you to make this phone call or check on this individual or, run these numbers, do all of these things, right? A lot of times I'm asking things of them. And so inherently, I made it a practice to turn around and say, how can I support you today? What can I do to support you? Right? What can I do to support you? And they would think on it. They knew that I was sincerely asking. And I would get feedback on a regular basis. They really appreciated me asking that question because it was a way that I always kept in check that even though I was asking them to do something, I was still there to serve them. And they knew that by me asking that question. So how do you know if you're a good leader? Are you making it about the team or about you? When it comes time to shine, are you pushing your team into the limelight, or are you stepping forward and getting the credit? Right? Those are the key things. Are you serving or are you out to get promoted? Even if you want to get promoted, we all wanted to get promoted in our executive careers. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be promoted, but there's a right way and a wrong way to do that, right? If you're stepping on people to become the tallest person in the room, you're not going to make it far. But if you're having your team and you're supporting your team and you're helping them develop, you're naturally going to be promoted. Why? Because all of your team is going to be telling the world how amazing you are. It's that simple, right? Okay, so how do you know if you're a good leader? You put your team first. You're serving. You're not seeking, right, to get something out of it. You're going to get something out of it because you're going to serve them. So you're naturally going to get something out of it, right? Are you showing up? Are you building trust? Are you keeping your word? Are you educating your team? Are you explaining the whys? Are you removing barriers for them? That's one of the primary reasons why you exist as a leader, is that you exist to remove the barriers that stand in the way of your team succeeding. Are you removing barriers? Or are you creating barriers? You got to ask yourself these questions. You got to do a gut check. You got to know for sure. And then what I would encourage you to do is, I already said it was the first thing I told you to do. Go ask your team. And don't just ask them once and be done with it. Ask them regularly. How can I serve you better? What can I do to help you? What barriers are in your way? As we start to move through and tackle this project, what am I missing? What do you need from me that I'm not giving you right now? You should constantly be asking these questions. When you ask them enough, you're going to get into the habit of constantly asking them. So that's the habit you need to be in. But the other thing that will happen is that your team is going to start recognizing and realizing that you're really sincere about this, and they're going to start answering you. And that is when the magic happens. That is when you become a good leader. It's when the team gives you honest feedback about what you could be doing better or how you can help them. And then here's the key. You do it. You do it. You follow through. You don't just ask the question and then leave it. You ask the question, you get the answer, and you follow through and you deliver on what they ask you to deliver on. Or if you can't, you explain to them why it wasn't able to be done, but you're honest. You're transparent and you communicate with them, and they're going to see you as a good leader and they're going to appreciate you for it. Okay. So there's the answer. It's not a direct answer. It's you got to go ask some more questions. You got to look inside. You got to ask other people. But between the gut check and the asking and the feedback and the constant repetition and the habits you're going to build, you're going to know. And if you're not a good leader, those habits will make you a good leader.